Welcome back to part 2 of our Space Invaders game. Last time we left off, we had built the rocket ship part of the program, which moves back and forth, and also the laser shooting program. There's still a couple bugs that we're going to work out really quick, and then we're going to move on to the creating the space aliens that fall down, and also putting in a few more finishing touches. So first, we have this random laser sitting here. All we have to do to get rid of that is hide it. So we can say when flag clicked, hide it. And then now if we click the flag, it's all good. Now we can create the Space Invaders. So to do this, we're going to need another sprite. What I would recommend you do is you get an image off the internet of a little alien. Once you have your image downloaded, make sure that you import it using the upload sprite function. We have this space alien that we can use as our Space Invader. So I'm going to name it Space Invader. So what we need to do with this is we want to have the Space Invader start at the top of the screen and slowly fall down to the bottom of the screen. And then if it gets to the bottom of the screen, then we want the game to end and you would lose. So first off, we can, let's see, when flag clicked, we can just hide, but what we're going to do with the Space Invaders is the same thing that we did with the lasers, where we're going to use clones to create a lot of them. So what we could do for now, let's just say every 1 second, so we can wait 1 second, and then we will create a clone of myself. So what this is going to do is just create another Space Invader every 1 second. Then we can go back to when I start as a clone. First, we'll show it again because currently it's hidden, and then probably shrink the size down because it's really big right now. So just do that for now. We can tweak it later, and we want it to start at a random position up here, right? And then slowly fall down to the bottom of the screen. So we can say go to Y, top of the screen is 180. And then the X, we want it to be random. So the way we do that, go to operators, and it's going to be pick random from the far left of the screen, which is negative 240, to 240. Then it's going to go until it reaches the bottom of the screen. So repeat until the Y position equals negative 180. Change Y by, I'll say, like negative 5. Okay, let's try this. Let's run it and then see how it goes. Oh, so look, we already have them. We've got them going down to the bottom of the screen and starting at random positions. So go to, it seems they're not going any farther across than this. Okay, there we go. All right. But there's a couple problems. First, we have to delete the clones once it gets to the bottom. So we will delete the clone once it gets to the end. Also, I thought they were a little too big still, so we'll probably do 15% instead of 25%. And they were sometimes spawning on the very, very edges. So maybe instead of negative 240, we'll do negative 220. to 20. And they were also moving a little fast, so we could probably change that to -2 instead of -5. But there's a problem is, right now, if we shoot them, oops, what's going on? Why are they not? That's the problem. So see here, I hit hide. I need to say show again. So yeah, so sometimes your fixes create other problems as well. So yeah, so we'll try this again. I can shoot them, but then the Space Invaders, they don't disappear. So we need to create another way for the Space Invaders to get deleted. We need to say, while in here, say if the Space Invader is touching a laser, then it will delete this clone. So now let's try that. So let's see. Ready? Yeah, so now if it touches a Space Invader, then they get deleted. So this is pretty much the whole game, but there's a couple things we can do to make it really polished and finish it off. First of all, we probably want to make it such that you can't just hold down the space bar like this. This is not necessarily super fun. So we can say, so I'm actually going to put this on another script and just say when key space pressed, create clone of laser, and then well actually will that work? Let's see. Yeah, so that means if we do it like that, then there's only so fast you can do it. We'll maybe work on that a little later, but that's not super urgent. What's more important is we have to create some way such that once the Space Invader gets to the bottom, you will maybe lose a life. So let's make another variable. We can just put it under here. We can say make a variable lives for all sprites. And this one we probably do want to show because we want to see how many lives we have. So now we can say when I start as clone, if I get to the bottom here, if I get my Y position to be less than 180, then I'm going to change lives by -1. That means we're going to lose a life every time a Space Invader gets to the bottom. So let's say you can start off with 3 lives with that, and then we'll see, hopefully the Space Invader can get to the bottom, and we'll see our lives decreasing. Now we've got another problem, is our lives can just go on down and down and down and down. So we probably want to have the end game, game end, sorry, when you get to 0 lives. So we can say back under here forever, if variable lives, equals 0, then we can actually no, we'll do this another way. We'll say, instead of putting this in forever, we're going to say we're only going to do it repeat until lives equals 0. So once, I hit Control Z to undo that. So once we get lives equals 0, then we're going to how about broadcast message? No, what's the best way to do this? But once we get to 0 lives, we want everything to stop. So we can say we can have the rocket ship say game over or something, and then it'll stop moving. So what we can do, we can broadcast a message. Where do we do that? Okay, broadcast message 1. We're going to create a message called game over. Then when we say game is over, then the rocket ship, when I receive game over, it will say, just say game over. Game over, like that. So now let's try this. So we have 3 lives. We can go, we can shoot the Space Invaders, but then I'm gonna let them get to the bottom. And then it says game over. Okay, but now we also want the Space Invaders to stop spawning, probably, because we don't want it to go to negative lives. So we can say when I start as clone. How can we do this? We can we can just hide the variable lives, and then it won't show. We'll say game over, and then something else we can do is we can use the timer to say how long you survived for. So game over, and then you survived for okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to say join. What this does is it lets us like put a variable inside what we're saying. So we could say, if we had it say you have, and then like the lives variable lives. So we'll say join game over you lasted, and then we'll say timer seconds. All right, so now let's try it. So there we get to the end. Game over. You lasted 9 seconds. Put a little space like that. So there you go. Now we've got our great little Space Invaders game. There's all kinds of things that you can do to make this more complicated. You could add maybe more Space Invaders, like make different costumes that maybe you need to shoot 2 times to get rid of. You could make the lasers disappear after they hit a Space Invader. There's all kinds of things you can do. Just little fixes, like maybe you'd say you have to get it. It's not once the Space Invader gets to negative 180. It's maybe just when it gets to the rocket ship, negative 140. There's all kinds of things you could do. You could also maybe make it slowly get faster. So the way this works is it's always going to spawn one every 1 second, and they're always going to go at just this speed. But you could create something where maybe every time it spawns it, then it they go a little faster, so it gets harder and harder. But this just kind of shows you where we've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess kind of like 5, 6, but like only a few scripts, and we already have this great little game. So you don't need to know a whole lot to create really cool things on Scratch and to program really cool things. And this was just a little brief taste of what you can do. I hope that in the future, all of you create anything that you can imagine. This has been Fun with Scratch. We'll maybe see you in the next one.